Today we're going to do something different. Today I'm going to do a long version of what I do with the daily angel numbers. Well, instead of angel numbers, I'm meditated, and I'm going to tell you what I saw from the meditation. So basically channeling. So I actually did this the day before yesterday, and I did the video. But as soon as I finished doing the video, I saw an angel number telling me like, you have to do things in your own style, in your own unique communication. And so here I am again. We're doing it from the top. Okay, so let's get into it. So the first image that I saw was a mountain, and it was full of mist, M-I-S-T. And the fog was like just settling in. So basically we can say that you either feel stuck because in the foggy weather you cannot see where you're going, or you're just lying in wait if you focus on the mountains, because the mountains, there's gonna be that they have the strength, they will persevere. Is this how I'm supposed to do it? I'm not sure. Let's continue though. And then soon after, I saw a hill, and the whole hill was like blocking the view. So basically you just saw the hill, and then at one point there was an opening, and in that opening there was a house, and that house had like three floors normal, and then on the roof they also have another floor, so basically 4 floors, and the roof had like the triangle shape, and the house was painted in red, like bright red that reminds you of blood. And that house has a compound, and in that compound there was a garden, and in that garden at one point there was a Buddha or a monk that was sitting in the lotus position, and next to them, basically in front of them, there was a river or a pond, but it was the starting point of it. So basically, when connected to the previous image, we can say, if we focus on the fog, you were stuck, but a new energy is being poured into you because the house is the self, and since it was in red, it's connected with blood. We can say new forms of energy has been poured into you, and the triangle at the top represents balance. So that in connection with the hills. So far we can interpret the images in 2 different ways. One story will be you were stuck in the mist, in the fog, and you've made your way up the hills and finally found a way back to yourself. And because you found your way back to yourself, you find a balance in yourself. In that stillness, you're creating, or you're just resting in the stillness. Hence the Buddha or monk in the lotus position. The other interpretation could be you're the mountain, you know your strength, but because of the fog, because of some circumstances, you're not stuck, but you lie in waiting. And because you know your strength, you put on boundaries, you put on walls that stop distractions from getting to you. Hence, you only have this small opening at the top of the hill, which shows the house, which is a symbol of yourself. And because of the color of the house, means that new energy has been poured into you because you've lied in waiting. You found a balance, and the Buddha represents the stillness again, meaning in that stillness. Oh, one thing I have to mention, the Buddha was staring at the water, basically the starting point of the water, the river or pond, whatever that is. And that shows that in your stillness, you have started to create a new flow. So we can see that in 2 different ways. So you've created a new flow. We're starting from that point now, from the point of the river. You've created a new flow. The river was clear, and the sun was shining into it, which means the divine is also pouring energy into you. So you're not doing this all by yourself. Following the flow of that river, I saw then a forest and a road next to that same river that is flowing down I don't know what it's flowing down to, but it's flowing. And on this new forest road, someone was walking the path. And as you know, forests represent abundance, right? So there's a lot to choose from. And given that the path was clear, oh, by the way, this is for November. I don't know if I said it, but this is for November, for the month of November. This is so chaotic. I'm so sorry, people. Yeah. The road was clear. There was no obstacle. Even though everything was green and the road was lushful, there was nothing popping out unexpectedly as the person walked along the path of the forest. And then following that image, I saw, it's like at the end of the forest, I saw like a big almond. Only one single almond, but it was like huge. And then it was broke into two. And the person ate it. So, given that almond is a type of food, I would say this is a nourishment that is being provided for you. You've been provided for in the month of November. Along your path, you're not walking it alone. You're walking it with the divine, with God, Buddha, whoever you believe in. They are walking on this path with you and they're providing you with your necessary needs. Hence the food. You're nourishing yourself. You're gaining more energy. Because soon after that, I saw an image of Jesus. No, I saw the image of the water again. Again, I have to say this time, the water is more deep. And it's very clear. The water is very clear. So I would say you've gained lots of clarity. And this ties really well, given that the image I saw after was a statue of Jesus in the white and blue, how do you call it? Is it the gown? The ornament thingy? Yeah. And he was standing at the edge of the road, and in front of the rest of the road is just the water. And he was just staring at the water, and his hands was like out. It was his right hand. It was like out like this, and he was just staring at the water. And then from that water came a bird. It was a huge one. It was in flame, people. And instead of it burning, itself or something, it wasn't burning itself. It wasn't panicking either. It was just in flame. And you can see that his feather, the additional ones, were like dropping off. They were being burned and then it's been dropped off. So, how we can understand this image is basically, given that water is much clear, I would say you've gained more clarity about yourself, about the things you want. And that, in connection with the Jesus statue, means you have either tapped into your own divinity, your own inner God, or you have gained some sort of enlightenment which adds more to your clarity. I hope that's clear. And the bird that was in flame, burning off all the additional feathers, is basically you using your knowledge to cleanse yourself of all things that no longer serves you. So the flame is basically cleansing you. Fire also has that type of effect. And you're getting rid of all things that no longer serves you. Okay. Soon after that, what I saw was, let me find it. Oh yeah. What I saw soon after that was a waterfall. Waterfall also has the cleansing effect. But this time around, the waterfall was pushing down on a solid rock that was emerging from the bottom of the water or something. Yeah, from the bottom of the water. So basically this water is the flow, your flow. And the huge stone was pushing up against the water, like fighting against the pressure that the water is bringing down on you, is pouring down on you. and it pushed and pushed and pushed until it stood to its full height. Once it was standing on its full height, it revealed itself to be a mountain, not a stone, but a mountain, and there was a clear path as well. This goes to show that whatever pressure, because water has also the pressure, if you stand underneath the waterfall, you can see how it splashes on your back. Basically, it's whooping you. And given that the stone, which was like, maybe you thought of yourself as something small, but even though you thought of yourself small, you still pushed against the pressure, and because you pushed, you put in the effort, you did the work, you upgraded, you became a mountain. From a stone, you became a mountain with a clear path. And from that mountain, I saw someone looking down on everything that's below them. So basically, you're looking back at the past, you finally recognizing the patterns, and now they contribute to you getting to where you are right now in the month of November. Hope that's clear. So moving on. While the person was looking back at all they have accomplished, all the things they went through, the mountain showed itself to just be the first peak. So where they were standing is not the entire mountain, but it was just the first peak of the mountain. There were more higher levels of the mountain. And on one of those levels was Jesus again. This time it wasn't a statue. It wasn't a statue. It was the actual physical embodiment of him. And he was walking up the stairs. And the person followed. Now, they were not alone with Jesus on the stairs. No, there were others as well. So we can understand this as, yes, you look at the past. Yes, you look at the past, but you also look ahead in the future. And you receive the call from the divine. You accept it. Basically, an opportunity. You accept it. And then you join the divine on the path. But you take on the path that was laid out for you by the divine. And since Jesus was the one leading on that path, it means that you are not in control. The divine, God, whatever you believe in, is guiding you, is the one that is guiding you, showing you where to go and what to do. This doesn't mean you're completely, complacent. No, you're not, because you actively made the choice to follow the guidance. You have the chance to also not go, but you made the choice to go. And on this path, there were other figures as well. You can see these figures as your soul tribe walking along with you, meaning you're not walking this path alone. Or you can see it as your guides, like other forms of guides, like maybe angels and stuff, meaning you're completely protected because you have your whole team walking this path with you. So you have nothing to fear. You just have to follow the flow and go. Now I have to say, on this mountain, you no longer see the river, which is the flow that you created. So basically, from your flow, the one that you were in absolutely control of, you move forward and reach a stage in which the divine took control, because you handed it to the divine, most likely to take control of the situation. And now you've been actively guided to the next stage. Okay, so now we're on the stairs following Jesus up, right? And then they walked and walked until they reach a gate, and then the gate opened. The gate feels like, like in Disney movies, in Hollywood movies, there's sometimes like when you reach the heaven, this gigantic gates that has all the thingy on top and all that. That's exactly the type of gate that I'm talking about. The type of gate that I saw in the vision. And that gate just opened up, and then they kept walking. There were more stairs to climb, basically. They kept walking and walking, and I have to say there's absolute silence in the whole time of walking up, right? But there was a clear understanding of what to do. Hope that's ringing some bells in you people. Anyway, they went up, and then they reached a landing. The person was all by themselves. There was nobody else there. Jesus has disappeared. The guides or the other soul tribes also has disappeared. But they were there, and everywhere was just clouds and light. They were in the sky, and I think we can reference that to the sky being seen as heaven. You will start your path in the mist, in the fog. You might not see all. You definitely not seeing everything that you're gonna do in the month of November, but you know you have your strength, and you're gonna do and take the necessary steps to get you from the mist to the clouds, up to the sky. You're gonna do the necessary steps. You're gonna take the necessary steps. You're gonna take guidance. You're gonna take lead. You're gonna take control. You're gonna hand over control. And you're gonna get to the heavens in November. I don't know exactly how that's gonna apply to each and everyone's situation, but I hope it makes sense. So basically, I summarized that in a few sentences. So basically, this is how it goes. You have completely changed your life, your path, from the lower grounds to the sky. You have nourished yourself, took the necessary steps, burned off the extra weight, you let yourself be guided, and you put in the work, and now you're up in the clouds. You have found your purpose, and you have taken off. Good luck in November.